We would like to thank our major sponsors for making this another successful year for the Mathew Forbes Romer Foundation.
During his short life, Boca Raton's Mathew Romer used to amaze his doctors.
The journey began when the Romer family received the horrifying news that their son Mathew had Tay-Sachs.
We saw his eyes weren't lining up properly. That led us down to get his eyes looked at. And they saw the cherry red spots that are classic signs.
When our son was diagnosed with Tay-Sachs disease, we tried to find everything we could do to help to treat him, to care for him.
He was sick in bed a lot and tried to have fun with him, but it was just tough because there's so little things he could do that a normal kid can do.
They soon found they were not alone.
I didn't see that Brooke was looking at me and focusing on me. He just looked in the back of her eye and saw the cherry red spots on her retina and diagnosed Tay-Sachs right there and then.
I said to myself, I have to be strong for her. I just looked into myself and said, I'm going to get through this.
I thought it was just awful that we had to go through something like that, but we did. And I was not as strong as I am in most things.
At a certain point, we realized there was a limit to what was available. So we established a foundation in his honor, the Mathew Forbes Romer Foundation, with the idea that there were so many other children that were in the same situation today or in the future that would need the kinds of breakthroughs that we envisioned with our foundation.
The Mathew Forbes Romer Foundation was established with a mission to educate and detect children's genetic diseases of the brain. Their first mission, partnering with the Tay-Sachs International Quality Control Lab to create a training video for over 40 labs around the world on the gold standard procedure. In 2003, they created the South Florida Genetic Testing Education Fair, partnering with Genzyme Genetics and Barron Delivery on Demand. That year, they pledged to hold 2 education and screening fairs per year throughout South Florida. Almost 200 people per year were tested, and 20% were found to be carriers. That year, they also did a parallel launch of the National Research Initiative, seeking treatments that benefit from screening and early intervention. In 2008, we formed a new partnership with the Victor Center, expanding the testing panel from 6 to 19 diseases.
I think that the biggest stigma in this whole thing is having an afflicted child in this day and age when all of these diseases are so preventable.
This partnership made it possible to have more screening fairs. The year 2013 saw a new partnership with JScreen, introducing an alternative of conducting in-home screening kits and the number of diseases possible through genetic sequencing.
We've really come a long way in not only using screening for prevention, but also using screening as an integral part in identifying at-risk families and then being able to use the therapies that we're developing as part of our treatment program. So it's been a very strong multi-pronged mission that we've been able to address.
Now in 2015, we have launched the first combined screening program promoting in-person screening at our education and screening fairs, which is now possible through a three-way partnership with the Victor Center and J-Screen. We continue to drive research to further improve the testing processes so we can easily, economically, and reliably scale from testing thousands of people to testing millions of people across the country and the world. And we formed an alliance with Bernie Marcus, co-founder of the Home Depot and president of the Marcus Foundation.
When we built the Home Depot, we knew that getting the price down was the critical factor, but having the quality of the merchandise. So here we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about quality testing where we know you can be assured that the tests are going to be accurate, and quality counseling afterwards where you have people that will be able to deal with you on a one-on-one basis, understanding your situation, and being able to help you make the decisions that you have to make.
And lastly, we've just created this 30-second public service announcement. It happens every day. A child is born, but not every child will live a normal life. Children's genetic diseases of the brain can rob you of your child's life.
It was just devastating.
There are hardly any words to explain the feeling.
Too hard to think about.
Changed my world.
Now, one genetic screening can detect many diseases. Attend our Florida screening fair or order the in-home kit.
Our parents got tested
Before we started our family.
Now it's time to pay homage to our See the Light Award honorees, who are the true pioneers of screening. Our first honoree is the father of developing and delivering high-volume quality Tay-Sachs genetic screening.
Two families came under my care, both of whom had children with a progressive degenerative disease. I really spent a lot of time with these families because they were very able to convey to me the power and the experience and the impact that this disease in their child, who was fatally afflicted, had on them and the other children in their family. It suddenly became evident to me at that time that Tay-Sachs disease potentially could be prevented before it ever occurred in a family.
The test that Dr. Kabak developed allowed for cost-effective screening of large populations and was the first such test in medical genetics.
I mean, more than 2 million people have been tested, and I'm very pleased at that number. One of the key mechanisms by which that was achieved was to get the College of Genetics and the College of OBGYN to make a recommendation to all of its practitioners that they needed to offer this testing.
Kabak pioneered the technology, process, and delivery of mass screening and quality assurance for Tay-Sachs, nationally and internationally, as a model for genetic diseases.
Well, I've had great people around me, and they've all been very supportive, giving me the freedom to do and try to do some of the things I've done. So we're all pioneers.
Tonight, we honor Dr. Michael Kabak for his groundbreaking research.
I want to thank the Mathew Forbes Romer Foundation for this very special honor. This is a very special honor for me because I've known the Romer family for many years, worked closely with them, and I know the important work they're trying to do. I'm awfully sorry I can't be there with you in Florida this evening, but other requirements kept me here in California. It's very important for me to acknowledge the contribution that families have made to all of the work that I and many of my colleagues have done. Through their efforts, really, much of the success of disease prevention and genetic education that has been accomplished has been done in collaboration with families. So that particularly emphasizes why the Romer Foundation and its work is so important.
Our next honoree was right by our side when we started the Mathew Forbes Romer Foundation. Lori Barron, founder and CEO of Barron Delivery on Demand, has been a major supporter and an integral team member of the foundation.
I already knew about Tay-Sachs disease. I was very aware of it. And when Kevin and Lisa Jane decided to start the foundation, I was right on board with them.
When we started the South Florida Genetic Testing and Education Fairs, we decided to bring the lab to the test participants.
Their screening fairs, when they first started, it just so happened that the lab that they used was also my customer. So we knew how to pack all the shipments that would come in, all the blood work, so we were always there for them for all their fairs.
Without Lori and Barron Delivery on Demand, our fairs and our foundation would not be as successful as they are today.
I think it's going to go on until there's a cure, and I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of what they did. If it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be a foundation that there is today, and I'm never going to stop helping them.
Lori Barron, our See the Light Award honoree.